Before you start to try to improve yourself, before you start trying to improve your life in one dimension, two dimensions, across the board, in whatever it is you've decided that you care about, before you start to meditate, read 80 books a day, and go for a run every day, lift every day, stacking on just impossible levels of good habits, what is going to be 10 to 20 times more important for you in this entire journey, really, is eliminating your bad habits first before you start to try to tack on all these good habits. Because I have seen time and time again through the people that I've worked with, through friends of mine, through extended kind of social circles of mine, where I've been paying a lot of attention to who's really doing well and who's not doing well. And I go up to people, everyone I know who does something that I look up to, who I know personally. I've gone up and I've either scheduled a call with them, or depending on how well I know them, I'll just say, hey, let's chat. Otherwise, I'll schedule more of a formal call with them. And I'll say, just take me through your day, take me through your last week, take me through your last month. What do things look like for you? Night and day difference are the people who don't have the bad habits. It's not the people who are running every day and the people who are I spend an hour on my business every day, no matter what. I spend an hour on whatever it is I care about every single day. I know plenty of people who are doing that, and it's getting them nowhere. I know plenty of people who are I want to do a photography business, and I go out every day and I take pictures of leaves, and it's all these shit. You know why? Because they can't wait to get back to their video games. They can't wait to go back and scroll on their phone. They can't wait for to go on TikTok. If you're a young man, if you're a man 18 to honestly 18 plus, 18 all the way to 80, if you're on TikTok, you're either full ape mode or a pedophile just watching young girls shake their ass, or whatever you're doing on there. It couldn't be worse for your mental health. It couldn't be worse for your motivation. It couldn't be worse for your progress in whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. If you're a young man and you have goals, and you have something that, even if you don't have a goal that's set right now, that's written down somewhere, you don't have a goal that's stated in your mind or on a piece of paper somewhere or on your wall, let's say, put it on your wall if you really have a goal that you're actually trying to achieve. Put it somewhere you're going to see it every day. If you don't even have a goal yet, I guarantee when I'm talking about this sort of things and you hear someone say young men who have a goal, something's going to pop into your mind. And I know something's going to pop into your mind because when I was in your shoes, something always popped into my mind. For me, it was, I know I could do really well in the music scene. I know that I could write great electronic music. I know that I could perform it in a really engaging way. And I also know that I could be in very good shape. And I know that I could help young men get to where I am trying to go and then where I actually am. So every time I heard this kind of message, that's what I heard. That's what popped into my head, were those kinds of things. Everyone has something in their mind. They're I would love to do that. And you can watch it just well up in them. Go up to somebody who you really know well and say have you ever thought you got any ideas in there? I know you don't really like your job. Have you thought about what you do instead? What would you really do if none of it mattered? If no money didn't matter, if your rent was paid? Everyone's got something. Chances are maybe it's not perfect. You're going to have to iterate through a little bit. Maybe you think I'm going to do exactly A, and what you actually do is 20 degrees off from A. It's a little bit more toward B, but you had to try A to know that you're actually supposed to be going this path. But everyone knows their A. Everyone knows roughly where they should be going. So when I mentioned this kind of thing, something popped into your head. The next thing that should pop into your head, if you're of sound mind, if you have a clear sort of mental capability in your head, the next thing that you should be thinking about is, why aren't I there? Why aren't I even getting near what I want to do? What's holding me back? It doesn't matter if you're doing the right thing every day. For me, I was playing drums every day. I had a little E-drum kit when I was in college that I could play, and I could play it kind of any time. It wouldn't be too loud. Neighbors wouldn't freak out, anything like that. I had the E-drum kit. I played it once in a while. I would kind of try to write new parts of songs, but I was also playing video games 2 hours a night until 1 a.m. And then I was waking up at 7 a.m. and I just had dog shit sleep, so my motivation is gone. Or in college, if I'm smoking weed or if I'm going drinking out with friends, it didn't matter that I was still playing drums once in a while. I was never getting better. I had never had the mental capacity to even envision what it would take for me to make that a real skill and make that a real potential for a career. As soon as I slashed all the bad habits, the good habits they just come into your life. They just start happening. It's really that simple. When I just gave away my Xbox to my younger brother, I was just like, what do? I have 2 hours a day freed up now. Honestly, sometimes even like 3 or 4 hours. Like if you're into video games, you know this. Like you set out to play an hour and a half, and 4 hours will go by, no problem. And you don't want to get up for too long from video games, so you just end up making a frozen pizza, and then now your diet's gone to shit, and now you feel even worse the next day. It's a cycle, right? When I gave that up and I had 2 extra hours in the day, when I forced myself to not fill that in with an even worse habit, like let's say scrolling on Instagram, or if I got a TikTok for God's sakes, when I forced myself to not replace it with another bad habit and boredom sort of set in a little bit, that's when reading happened. That's when exploring business ideas happened. That's when exploring what does it actually take to become a musical artist, like an artist full time? What does it take to go down a road of something you actually care about? And it's a night and day difference. I mean, I'm here to tell you that once you get this message that I'm trying to get across to you right now, and once you start hearing it consistently, like what I needed to do, and you actually implement some of these directives, you actually implement some of these, I guess, like I could even say tasks. Like I'm giving you a task, let's say right now, eliminate one habit, even just a tiny little habit. Even if that habit is like, oh, I just leave my shit out in the bathroom all the time. Eliminate that bad habit. Start really small, right? If you start putting those into effect, it's just such a snowball effect that it just becomes so easy after a while. Like now, if I hear of a good book, like someone recommends me a book, like, oh, this helped me, grow my business, or this helped me, be a better salesman, this helped me be a better music artist, I just pick up the book and read it. It's just that simple. I'm not like, oh, but I have to steal my brain, steal my motivation away from Xbox, or steal my motivation away from being high or being drunk. You don't have to get over. There's no hurdle to get over. I just bought the book. I have extra money because I'm not spending it on bad habits. I just bought the book and I just sat down and I just read it. Or I bought the audiobook and I just read it. I listened to it at the gym. Like it's just so easy. That's a very simple example, but it just goes to show that that's where it starts. And then it snowballs all the way up until like, oh, I wrote an entire album and it felt really easy. My first ever album, and it's went great. I couldn't be more proud of it. And it was just easy. I'm putting together a live show right now and having to learn how to like these lights you see behind me right now, completely DIY, like 3D printed. I wired it. I soldered it all myself. I programmed it myself. And I would never feel like I'm boasting when I say that, just because it didn't take any effort. Because it just happened. It's just like, well, that's what I'm doing with my time. I don't need to sit there and like look in the corner of my eye and see the Xbox over there every 3 minutes and think like, oh, that would be really fun. I could just go play Xbox right now. There's nothing tearing me away from learning how to code these lights, learning how to play these drums even better, learning how to get my music out on Spotify, learning how to grow an audience. What else would I do, right? I don't have these bad habits that are taking me away all the time. So to summarize, it's not just about your good habits. It doesn't matter if you're trying to lose weight, for example, it doesn't matter that you're just going for a run every day. It doesn't matter you're going for a walk every day if you still have the bad habits of eating like shit. Vice versa is the same. You eat really well and you're trying to lose weight, but you never go to the gym, right? You need to slash both bad habits. Doesn't matter. You could do honestly neither of those. If you don't eat really poorly and don't sit on the couch all day, you will lose weight. It's really that simple. And then stacking those good habits on top of that just makes your progress go that much smoothly, that much faster, right? So we're not going to just say, ignore the good habits, but they don't matter while you still have these horrible habits in the first place. It doesn't matter all your goals and all the things you want to do if your mind is trapped in Instagram, if your mind is trapped on a video game, if your mind is trapped in a joint. It just simply doesn't matter. Slash the bad habits first. You know exactly what you need to slash. When I say that, I bet every time I say that, you're thinking of something like, oh, but it probably feels kind of bad, right? Like that's your ego talking. Your ego is saying like, oh, but weed helps me think, or weed makes me productive, or weed makes me really relax. Otherwise I get anxiety. It's like you get anxiety because you never ever sleep, and so now your mental health is shit, and you never sleep because you're always high, or you never sleep because you never exercise, so your body isn't ready for sleep, or you never sleep because you're playing video games all night and you've got the blue light on your eyes until 2 a.m. It's the bad habits. It is. You know what they are, and you need to start slashing them out right now. So write down one, at least one that you can slash right now. I know there's probably a dozen you could slash today, but we're going to start small. It's all about incremental improvements. Write down one, put it somewhere you're always going to see it. Like I would put it on my desk, and I would just put, like, I remember back in college, I would put like there was only one time where I felt like I was really smoking too much. And I was like, okay, I'll just put I'll draw like a little joint, and I just put it there, and I put like the classic little cartoon slash through it. It is that simple. So every time I was thinking like, my friends, like my roommates are out there smoking, like maybe I just go join them. Like, I don't even know if I'll hit it. I'll just go join them. I'll just go hang out with them. And I'd look at that and I'd remember everything would come back to me. Everything that I wanted to do, who I wanted to become, the body I wanted to achieve, the business I wanted to start, the music I wanted to make, it all came flooding back to me, and my purpose came flooding back to me. And once I had my purpose back in my mind, everything else just fell into place. Once I had that purpose there in front of me, I couldn't ignore it anymore. And it propelled me so much more after that. So go ahead, write it down, slash the bad habits. We'll stack we'll stack the good habits after that. And thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.